we're going to talk about what positive reinforcement is. So many people have an idea of positive reinforcement these days, or at least they understand that if they give their dog a treat for sitting, that their dog's more likely to sit. But where they sort of fall down is where they miss the next steps in the process. So how to remove the treat, so they'll only have a dog that will sit if they have a treat in their hand. So what we're going to teach you is the whole concept of positive reinforcement, not just half of it. Basically, what positive reinforcement is a contract between you and your dog. So if you give me what I want, I will give you what you want. That is, if my dog does what I want it to do, I will give him something that he wants as a result. It actually opens up a channel of communication between you and your dog. It's very clear and very precise information of yes, you're doing the right thing, and here is something for it. And therefore, when no, you're not doing the right thing, you won't get the thing for it. It's simple, so your dog performs a behaviour, you add something the dog wants, and you increase the likelihood of the behaviour happening again and again and again and again. So your dog will offer the behaviours in hopes that it will get desirable things, and they continue to repeat. So the first question we have to ask when we're looking at positive reinforcement is we have to figure out what is desirable to our dog. So obviously, food is one of the easiest to utilise. We're going to use that in class most of the time. It's also the easiest to use when learning a new behaviour because we can give a piece of food very fast and then basically move on to repeat the exercise quite quickly. Whereas if we're using games and play, that's excellent for a dog that already has learnt the behaviour, and we want to solidify that behaviour. So solidify that behaviour as after they've learnt it. Excellent way to do it. So games and play, obviously, desirable to most dogs. Sometimes it's just verbal praise. Sometimes physical praise, so just patting the dog. Think about things like if the dog is an inside dog and he wants to go outside, then going outside is desirable. If the dog is outside and wants to come inside, then obviously coming inside is desirable. So we can ask for behaviours when these desirable things occur. If you think about a walk, obviously sniffing while on a walk is a reward. So as long as you can control the reward, or as we like to call it, a reinforcer. So if you can control the reinforcement, then you're going to have an ability to reward the dog for a good behaviour. Okay, just a quick note on verbal praise and physical praise. Some people do like to think that all they need to do to reward a dog is to use praise. The important thing to remember there is that if you're going to use verbal praise or physical praise as your sole reinforcers, so never using anything like a game or food, you actually have to not use them at other times, or you devalue that reinforcement. And if you're like me, obviously, I love my dogs and I like to give them a lot of attention and praise, even probably when they're not doing particularly good things, or if they're just doing like lying down having a sleep. If I walk past them, I'm gonna come down, give them a bit of a pat, and tell them they're such a good dog before I move on with the rest of my day. So therefore, I devalue verbal praise and physical praise as a highly reinforcing reinforcer. So especially when it comes to behaviour. So have a think about that before you start to think, oh, I'm never going to use food and my dog will just do what they want because they love me. It's a little bit more complicated than that. Of course, they love you, and I have no doubt about that. But they are still an animal, and as animals, as we are as well, we do what we want because it makes us feel good. So we're going to influence what makes them feel good by controlling what makes them feel good. And what we have to remember is we're going to focus on setting the dog up for success so that we can ensure we get the behaviour that we want by rewarding it when it happens. We don't want to set a dog up to fail, so we're not here to find a way to correct the dog. We want to find a way to tell the dog that it's doing the right thing, and we're going to see those behaviours become more and more apparent in their life. Before I go on any further, I like to just give everyone a bit of a personal note. So why I chose to train by positive reinforcement. When I started looking at how to become a dog trainer, I looked at lots and lots of different methods of training. And essentially I used my 2 dogs that I had at the time as guinea pigs. So what their response was like to the training, and what my relationship developed like from training with them. So there's a lot of different styles of dog training. What I found about positive reinforcement is that I actually got to focus on what I want. So I get to focus on what I want to see from my dog. I get to ignore things that I don't want to see. So it actually makes it more fun for me, and it takes the pressure off me having to always correct the dog's mistake. So if I'm constantly looking for something to correct, I actually start to feel bad. And I'm always looking for an error to pick up on. Whereas alternatively, with positive reinforcement, I'm always looking for an opportunity to reward. And obviously, my opportunities to reward increase the more I reward. So, unlike where I'm trying to correct a behaviour, once you start looking for mistakes, you're probably going to find them everywhere. And it does have an influence not only on how my dog feels, but also on how I feel. So we take that pressure off, and we start saying, look for the right thing and don't worry about the wrong things. Wrong things occur, especially when you're beginning training a dog. You don't have to, it's not the end of the world, however, you don't have to focus on those. You get to go, well, hang on, how do I fix that up next time? And ultimately, because of this, my emotions get to be my guide. So if I become frustrated with my dog or upset or angry, maybe they took the washing off the line, maybe they ate a shoe, maybe they dug a hole in the backyard, and I'm starting to get angry at their behaviour. Maybe they're just not listening to me if I'm asking them to sit or ask them to come back to me, so I'm giving them a recall cue. All these things can be frustrating as the person in the picture. But what I figure is that my emotions are my guide. So if I am frustrated or upset, I'm going to actually go, okay, it's time for a timeout. So I need a timeout myself to refocus. What just happened? Why didn't my dog listen to me? Why is he digging a hole? Why is he taking the clothes off the line? I can start to reevaluate what's occurred. My dog will probably also need a timeout, especially if he's been overexcited and is failing to listen to me. It's not a punishment, however. It's not like Super Nanny when you can time out a child. Your dog is never going to sit there and go, "Oh, what happened? Why did I do that?" He's never going to sit there and think about what he's done. Okay, he's probably just been a dog, but sometimes just being a dog doesn't work, when you're living with people. So I get a timeout to refocus. My dog gets a timeout to refocus, preferably with some kind of enrichment toy, so it keeps them occupied. And I need to start thinking, what do I want my dog to do? Okay, what is the path of least frustration so next time I am stuck in this situation, it doesn't happen again? So when we talk about the path of least frustration, obviously, if my dog's taking clothes off the line, well, then I wouldn't put clothes on the line if I'm about to go out and do the shopping or off to work. Okay, I have to start to manage those situations, or alternatively, I put the clothes on the line and I put the dog somewhere that he can't access them. Okay, then I can deal with the training of how do I teach a dog to leave washing on the line and not take it off. But first step is I manage the problem. Second step is I train. Okay, I start thinking, what do I want my dog to do?